Right, Cairns sitting at 43 degrees while Melbourne is barely cracking 18. That is not a typo. Is your area about to cop the most unstable weather pattern we've seen this month? Because right now, the Bureau of Meteorology has severe weather warnings active for 3 states, affecting over 8 million Australians, and what's developing over the next 72 hours could change everything. I'm going to break down exactly when your specific location gets impacted, which areas are in the firing line, and why tomorrow's update is absolutely critical. Chuck your location in the comments right now because I'll be doing personalised forecasts for every single one tomorrow based on the overnight model runs. Let us get straight into the timing for the major centres. Sydney, you are looking at showers developing late Monday afternoon around 4 p.m, heaviest overnight into Tuesday with 20 to 40 millimetres possible. Melbourne, dry start Monday, but a cold front slams through Tuesday morning, bringing gusty winds up to 70 kilometres per hour. Brisbane and the Gold Coast, patchy rain Monday, but the real action hits Wednesday with a developing low pressure system. Perth, you've got clear skies through Monday and Tuesday, then a trough pushes through Wednesday afternoon. Adelaide, mostly dry Monday, showers increasing Tuesday evening. Hobart, cold and wet Monday with that Southern Ocean front clearing Tuesday arvo. Darwin and the top end, monsoonal activity ramping up with heavy falls likely midweek. Now here where it gets interesting, the Access model and the European model are showing completely different scenarios for southeast Queensland from Wednesday onwards. Access is keeping that low pressure system offshore, which means Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast get maybe 10 to 20 millimetres. But the European model, it's bringing that system right across the coast, which could dump 50 to 100 millimetres across the same areas. That 100-kilometre difference in the track changes everything. We should have much better clarity on this by tomorrow morning's run, so definitely check back. Let me walk you through what's happening with the broader pattern because this affects everyone. We've got a massive high-pressure system sitting over the Tasman Sea, and it's been there for days. That's why the eastern seaboard has been so dry lately, but there's a trough developing inland across Queensland and New South Wales. And when that interacts with moisture from the Coral Sea, we could see some decent rainfall. The thing is, the timing and intensity are still up in the air. For New South Wales, let me be specific about the regions. Sydney is already covered. Newcastle, URE on a similar timeline to Sydney, but potentially heavier falls Tuesday morning. Wollongong, same deal as Sydney. Coffs Harbour, URE actually in the best position for rainfall Monday night into Tuesday with 30 to 60 millimetres possible. Wagga Wagga and the Riverina, URE staying mostly dry through the week. Dubbo and Central West, slight chance of showers midweek, but nothing significant. Victoria's got a different story altogether. Melbourne, I mentioned. Geelong, you are getting that cold front slightly earlier Tuesday morning. Ballarat and the Central Highlands expect showers and possible small hail Tuesday with that front. Bendigo, Shepparton and the north, URE on the northern edge of the system. So lighter falls expected. The Gippsland coast could see some decent rainfall Tuesday into Wednesday as an east coast low develops. Actually, hang on, let me clarify that. It's not a classic east coast low, more of a coastal trough, but the impacts could be similar for eastern Victoria. Queensland, this is where the uncertainty really ramps up, and I mentioned this earlier. Brisbane currently 29 degrees, humid as anything. Gold Coast 30 degrees with that sticky northeasterly flow. Sunshine Coast 28 and cloudy. Now, all three of you are looking at scattered showers Monday, but Wednesday is the day to watch. Townsville and Cairns up north, you are in the monsoon trough, so heavy rainfall is likely throughout the week. Cairns specifically could see 100 to 200 millimetres between Monday and Friday. Toowoomba on the ranges, you will catch the western edge of whatever system develops, so moderate falls possible. There is one thing about this Queensland situation that got me concerned, and I'll get to that in about 3 minutes. But first, let me cover the other states. Western Australia, you lot are in a completely different weather pattern. Perth, 34 degrees Monday, 32 Tuesday, then a trough drops temperatures to 28 Wednesday. Bunbury and the southwest, similar pattern but slightly cooler. Geraldton and the Midwest, staying hot and dry through the entire week. Kalgoorlie, you are looking at extreme heat Monday and Tuesday, possibly 44 to 46 degrees. Broome and the Kimberley, you've got tropical moisture streaming in, so scattered storms are likely every afternoon this week. South Australia, a bit of a mixed bag for you. Adelaide, I covered earlier. Mount Gambier in the southeast, that cold front Tuesday brings decent rain, maybe 15 to 30 millimetres. Whyalla and the Spencer Gulf, mostly dry. Port Augusta and the north, hot and dry, no change there. Tasmania, you're copping the worst of the southern ocean systems right now. Hobart, Currently 15 degrees with rain, overnight low of 9. Launceston 16 and wet. Devonport and the northwest coast exposed to strong westerly winds Monday, gusting to 80 kilometres per hour. The west coast is getting hammered with heavy rainfall. Some areas could see 100 millimetres by Tuesday morning. Northern Territory, Darwin at 32 degrees with 88% humidity. That is pretty standard for this time of year, but the monsoonal trough is intensifying. Alice Springs, you are hot and dry, 39 degrees Monday, 41 Tuesday. Catherine, heavy storms likely midweek as that monsoon trough moves south. Right, back to that Queensland concern I mentioned. The reason this developing low-pressure system matters so much is because of the compounding factors. We've had a relatively dry start to the year across southeast Queensland. The ground is hard. When you suddenly dump 50 or more millimetres in a short period, you get rapid runoff. Flash flooding becomes a real risk, especially in urban areas like Brisbane's western suburbs, parts of the Gold Coast hinterland, and Ipswich. The models are still working out whether this is a 6-hour event or a 24-hour event. That difference is massive in terms of flood risk. Now, if you're sitting there in Canberra, I haven't forgotten you. 25 degrees Monday, showers developing Tuesday afternoon, 15 to 25 millimetres possible. Cooler Wednesday with a top of 21. Let me talk about the fire danger situation because this is critical. Western New South Wales, you've got severe fire danger Monday and Tuesday. Total fire bans are likely. Same story for Northwest Victoria and Northern South Australia. If you are in these areas, absolutely no outdoor fires. Be careful with machinery and have your bushfire plan ready. The combination of hot temperatures, low humidity and strong winds creates extreme fire weather. Kalgoorlie and the eastern goldfields in Western Australia, you're also looking at severe to extreme fire danger Monday, around the 3-minute mark now. So if you haven't chucked your location in the comments yet, do it now. I am reading through every single one tonight, and tomorrow's video will have personalised updates for as many of you as possible. The overnight model runs are going to be crucial, especially for that Queensland system. Let me give you some beach and coastal conditions because I know heaps of you are interested in that. Sydney beaches, moderate swell, Monday building to 2 metres Tuesday. Rips will be a concern Tuesday afternoon. Gold Coast beaches, 1 to 1.5 metres Monday, building Wednesday if that low develops. Perth beaches, calm conditions Monday and Tuesday, perfect beach weather. Melbourne Port Phillip Bay, choppy conditions Tuesday with that cold front. Newcastle beaches, similar to Sydney, but potentially bigger swell. The wind situation is worth noting. Southeast Queensland, you've got that sticky northeasterly flow Monday, switching to easterly Tuesday, then potentially strong southeasterlies Wednesday if the low develops. That wind change Wednesday is a big deal. Sydney, northeasterlies Monday becoming east to southeasterlies Tuesday. Melbourne, northerlies ahead of the front Tuesday morning. Then a sharp swing to gusty southwesterlies. Adelaide, northerlies Tuesday, then southwesterlies behind the front. Perth, easterlies Monday and Tuesday, then that trough brings southwesterlies Wednesday. There is something unusual happening with the temperatures this week, and it's worth highlighting. Normally at this time of year, Darwin is one of the hottest capitals. Right now, multiple inland locations are exceeding Darwin-esque temperatures. That's how intense this inland heat is. We're talking about places like Birdsville, potentially hitting 48 degrees, Oodnadatta in South Australia, 47. These are dangerous, life-threatening temperatures. If you're in these areas, stay indoors during the heat of the day, drink heaps of water, check on vulnerable neighbours. Now, the European model is also showing something interesting for next weekend, but there's still way too much uncertainty to get specific. Let's just say, if you are in southern Australia, keep an eye on the forecast because another significant system might be developing. I'll have more concrete information on that tomorrow and definitely by midweek. Let me cycle through some more regional centres quickly. Mackay in Queensland, scattered storms all week, nothing severe. Rockhampton, similar story. Gladstone, patchy rain increasing midweek. Bundaberg, scattered showers Monday and Tuesday. Hervey Bay, humid with scattered showers. Maryborough, same as Hervey Bay. Gympie on the hinterland, heavier falls possible Wednesday. The Sunshine Coast hinterland, Maloney, Montville, those areas could see significant rain Wednesday if the system tracks close to the coast. In New South Wales, Tamworth and the northwest, mostly dry with just slight shower chances. Armidale on the tablelands, cooler with showers Tuesday. Port Macquarie, good rainfall likely Tuesday. Byron Bay, scattered showers building midweek. Lismore, similar to Byron, the Snowy Mountains, snow possible above 1,800 metres Tuesday night into Wednesday with that cold air. Thredbo and Perisher could see a decent dusting. Victorian regional centres, Mildura staying hot and dry. Swan Hill, same story. Warrnambool and the southwest coast, wet and windy Tuesday. Ballarat I covered. Bendigo staying mostly dry. The high country, Falls Creek, Mount Hotham, snow likely Tuesday night. Western Australia, regional areas, Albany and the Great Southern, that trough Wednesday brings showers. Esperance, dry through the week. Carnarvon and the Gascoyne, hot and dry. Exmouth, isolated storms possible. Port Hedland and the Pilbara, hot with potential storms. Karratha, similar conditions. South Australian regionals, the Barossa Valley, dry Monday, showers Tuesday. The Fleurieu Peninsula, decent rain Tuesday. The Riverland, hot and dry. The Eyre Peninsula, mostly dry with gusty winds Tuesday. Around the 12-minute mark now. Really appreciate everyone watching and engaging with these forecasts. Your comments genuinely help me understand what information matters most to you. Drop your location below if you want a specific update tomorrow. Let me address the tropical situation briefly. There is a tropical low developing in the Gulf of Carpentaria. Now, this is not expected to develop into a cyclone according to current modelling, but it will bring heavy rainfall to the Northern Territory coast and possibly inland areas. Katherine, Nhulunbuy, those areas should prepare for significant rain this week. The system is then expected to track southeast, potentially bringing rain to Western Queensland later in the week. Mount Isa, you might see some decent falls by Friday. The Indian Ocean is also showing some activity. There is a tropical low west of the Cocos Islands, but that S tracking away from Australia, so no impacts for us. One thing I should mention about these forecasts is that they rebased on the latest model runs as of this afternoon. Meteorology is constantly evolving. What I'm telling you now is the most likely scenario, but weather systems can intensify, weaken, speed up or slow down. That's why these daily updates matter. By tomorrow, we'll have 12 to 18 more hours of model data, which significantly improves forecast accuracy, especially for that Wednesday system in Queensland. The rainfall totals I am seeing in the models for the next 7 days show some interesting patterns. Northern Australia across the top end and North Queensland, widespread totals of 100 to 300 millimetres. Southeast Queensland, anywhere from 10 millimetres to 100 millimetres, depending on that low S track. Coastal New South Wales, 20 to 60 millimetres. Victoria, 15 to 40 millimetres. Heavier in Gippsland. Tasmania, 50 to 100 millimetres on the west coast. South Australia, 10 to 30 millimetres in the southeast. Western Australia, mostly under 10 millimetres except the far north. Central Australia, basically nothing. The temperatures for the rest of the week, just quickly. Sydney, highs of 24 to 28. Overnight lows around 19 to 21. Melbourne, 19 to 23 for highs, lows of 11 to 14. Brisbane, 28 to 31. Humid overnight lows of 23 to 25. Perth, 28 to 34. Lows of 19 to 22. Adelaide, 23 to 29. Lows of 14 to 17. Hobart, 16 to 19. Lows of 9 to 12. Darwin, 31 to 33. Lows steady around 25. Canberra, 21 to 26, lows of 12 to 15. For those of you asking about longer range outlooks, the February to April period is still looking at near to above average rainfall for most of eastern Australia, according to the Bureau of Meteorology long range forecasts. Western Australia is trending drier than average. Temperatures are likely to be above average across most of the country. But remember, these are seasonal outlooks, not week-by-week forecasts. The UV index this week is extreme across most of Australia. Even on cloudy days, you can get burnt quickly if you are outdoors. Slip on sun protection, slop on sunscreen, slap on a hat. Skin cancer is no joke. Right, let me bring this together. The key takeaways for the next 72 hours. Eastern Australia sees increased rainfall, heaviest in northern Queensland and Tasmania. A developing low near southeast Queensland Wednesday needs close monitoring. Extreme heat continues inland with dangerous fire conditions. Strong winds with frontal systems, especially Victoria and Tasmania Tuesday. Heavy rain in the Northern Territory from that Gulf low. The one specific thing to watch tomorrow is the overnight model runs for that Queensland low. If it tracks 20 kilometres closer to the coast than currently forecast, rainfall totals double or even triple for Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. If it stays offshore, you get light showers at best. That is a huge difference, and we'll know much more by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's video will have those updated forecasts, plus I'll dive into the weekend outlook and that potential system for southern Australia next week. Going to aim for around 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, maybe a bit earlier if the model runs are particularly interesting. Appreciate everyone who has made it this far. Weather affects all of us, And I reckon keeping informed helps everyone make better decisions. Whether it's planning outdoor work, deciding on that beach trip, or just knowing if you need to water the garden, check back tomorrow for those updates. And seriously, drop your location in the comments. I'll get to as many as I can. Stay safe out there, especially if you are in those fire danger areas or expecting heavy rainfall. Look after your mates. Check on elderly neighbours during extreme heat. We're all in this together.